No? You just have amnesia? Can't remember how you put your car into a house?
I already told you so.
Yeah, you told me nothing. You told me you don't remember.
I didn't say that.
Hey, you said it happened too fast.
Alright, she's gonna blow into this, okay? Push your mouth over it like a bump balloon, just keep blowing, okay? Keep pushing out, push, there you go, keep pushing.
The suspect's blood alcohol content reads 0.195 after her test.
So how long ago have you had?
I'm not answering.
Okay, your blood alcohol shows 0.195, okay?
On October 6, 2025, Brookfield Police in Illinois responded to a vehicle crash into a private residence at Jackson and Cleveland Avenue. The driver remained on scene. This is the legal analysis of what followed.
Anybody live here? Anybody live here?
She's probably at work.
Okay, what happened?
My foot hit the wrong pedal.
The who?
My foot hit the wrong pedal.
Alright, your license on you?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know their phone numbers and stuff or anything?
I think we got her phone number.
Okay.
We've got keys to her house. She's got a dog too.
Okay.
I haven't seen the dog.
I heard it barking on the other side over there. So.
We have a dog next door.
You guys, okay, gotcha.
But she's got a small dog.
Okay, if you get that phone number for
I'm
me.
gonna go get the keys.
Okay.
And try to get the dog over to our house.
All right, if you can get a phone number for me, I appreciate it. Okay. Thank you.
So you were going northbound? Explain to me, even if you hit the wrong pedal, you could still stay on the roadway. How did you end up in a house?
Good question.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Did you fall asleep? Were you on your phone? So how'd you end up in the house?
I hit the wrong pedal. I was going to pick my son from school.
You're going what?
Pick up my son from school.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even if you hit the wrong pedal, you could stay on the roadway. How did you leave the roadway?
I go so fast, officer.
Have you had anything to drink today?
No.
Have you taken any medication that would like alter your ability to drive? No? Do you take any medication?
Yes.
Just put a number in the cab for me.
I mean, it's damaged.
Oh,
It's not like it's through the
yeah,
house.
the dog's like, I heard a dog in here.
Enjoy, I hope so.
Do we call it tow truck? I don't know.
Okay. Should not is a state of opinion. Does it impair or does it not impair? It does not? So you don't know how you left the roadway?
Hope so.
So Meg's husband, Dan Miller, is... You want to call him yourself? He's Lieutenant in Forest Park. He's being my son right now.
But he wasn't in the car with you, right?
No.
So how would he explain to me how you left the roadway? We got to write a report. So in the report, I have to try to make sense of how your car left the roadway and could have killed somebody if they were...
I was going too fast around the corner.
So which way were you going? Were you going north?
This way.
Where were you coming from?
Jackson Avenue.
Okay, so you were making a turn.
Correct.
Okay,
I was coming too fast.
you didn't say that at first.
I'm sorry, officer. I was coming too fast.
So which way were you going on Jackson?
I was coming this way.
So
I
you're
live
going
on Jackson Avenue.
So
I
you're
was
going eastbound.
Eastbound on Jackson Avenue to northbound on this road here, and I turned too fast.
Central 422, you can just advise that homeowner that the dog is at the neighbor's house and it's fine.
You want to go to the hospital?
No, I'm good, thank you.
No? You just have amnesia? Can't remember how you put your car into a house?
I already told you so.
Yeah, you told me nothing. You told me you don't remember.
I didn't say that.
Hey, you said it happened too fast.
Yeah, I got it. I'll get it back. I got it. I gave it to the officer. He's copied it down. I'll get it.
So
Yeah.
you were going eastbound on
Okay.
Jackson, you made the turn, and you hit the gas instead of the... How fast do you think you were going when you hit the house? Most people, when they turn, they're turning like at 10 to 15 miles an hour.
Well,
You
it was
know?
faster than that, obviously, so I'm sorry about that.
Don't be sorry. I'm not mad at you for it.
Well, I'm not mad. I'm irritated myself.
I don't take it personal.
Oh, yeah.
We just have to write a report.
I understand that, sir.
I mean, obviously, you know you're going to get some tickets.
Well, no shit. Yeah.
Which way are you coming from?
So she was going eastbound Jackson. She made a northbound turn, hit the gas instead of the brake, bulldozed the corner of the house.
Do you have insurance on your car?
I do.
All right, let me get your insurance policy information and what's your phone number?
So looks like my sergeant has a PBT in his hand. You said you didn't drink. It would obviously benefit you if you just blew into it, so we can put in our report that you blew zeros. You willing to do that?
No.
A vehicle embedded in a residential structure constitutes probable cause under the Fourth Amendment for an immediate warrantless investigation. The community caretaking doctrine and exigent circumstances exception eliminated any warrant requirement from the moment of first contact. The suspect offered 3 distinct incompatible explanations for the crash. Wrong pedal, happened too fast, going too fast on the turn. Under Illinois law, a pattern of inconsistent statements is probative of cognitive impairment and directly undermines credibility at trial. When asked directly whether she had consumed alcohol, the suspect said no. That affirmative false statement, not a silence but a denial, triggers 720 ILCS 531-4. Obstructing justice. This statute criminalizes knowingly providing false information to law enforcement during an active investigation. The Fifth Amendment guaranteed her right to remain silent. She had no right to lie. When the sergeant requested a preliminary breath test, the suspect initially refused. The officer's response was legally precise. Under 625 ILCS 511-501.1, Illinois. Implied consent law. Refusal triggers a 12-month administrative license suspension. Failing the test triggers only 6 months. The officer stated the law accurately and without coercion. Courts distinguish lawful persuasion through accurate information from unlawful coercion. This fell clearly on the right side of that line. The preliminary breath test returned 0.195. Under 625 ILCS 511-501, driving with a backseat at or above 0.08 is a per se violation. The Illinois Supreme Court confirmed in People v. Martin, 2011, that per se DUI is strict liability. The number alone establishes the offense. No proof of actual impairment is required. At 0.195, the aggravated DUI threshold of .6 is also exceeded, triggering mandatory minimum community service hours.
You do have to go to the hospital and get your blood drawn. So
Otherwise, they're going to turn this into a DUI investigation. So if you didn't have anything to drink, it's in your best interest to blow into the PBT. I can't force you. I'm not making you. But you're telling me definitively that you had nothing to drink. You said it multiple times. So if you didn't, that should register 0. But if you choose not to, then we have to do our job, and part of our job is looking at this as a possible DUI. So did you have anything to drink today? Earlier. Okay. What time and how many? Because again, I'm not forcing you to do this, but if they don't do it, what they're going to end up doing is they're going to transport you to the hospital in custody, and they're going to draw your blood, and we're going to get it right from the blood. So if you're cooperative, it'll put things into perspective a little bit quicker for us, so we can understand what happened. But if you don't want to cooperate, and you don't want to do it, that's your prerogative, okay? Nobody's making you. All I'm asking you to do is tell the truth. That's it.
all right, she's gonna blow into this, okay? Push your mouth over it like a bump blow, and just keep blowing, okay? Keep pushing out. Push. There you go. Keep pushing.
The suspect's blood alcohol content reads 0.195 after her test.
So how long ago have you had?
I'm not answering.
Okay. Your blood alcohol shows 0.195, okay? All right. So what we do is you're going to step over here real quick for me. All right. Just stand right here. We'll do some, so go ahead, put your phone in your satchel there, okay? And just go ahead and face me, all right? Put your hands out your side. You stand advised to a sobriety test. You're going to participate in those sobriety tests.
Well, I'm wearing like not full shoes on right
You have shoes. Just put them all the way on. That's your choice if you choose not to put your shoes all the way on.
I'll do it barefoot.
You want to do it barefooted?
I'd rather do barefoot.
All right, take your satchel off if you want to sit it down over there as well. You have any other medical conditions, medical issues? Nothing? Okay, how's your overall health? It's fine. Okay, you need contacts in your eyes. All right. And last time have you consumed alcohol?
I'm not going to answer it.
You don't want to answer that. The test shows that you're twice the legal limit. Okay. All right. And that's why we want to ask those questions. Give you a chance to prove that you're not intoxicated, like I said. I mean,
So this field sobriety test would do that?
no, it doesn't. Well, you still blew over the legal limit. So
Well, I know,
we're doing the field sobriety test as a complete process. And as you're talking to me now, I smell the alcohol coming through your breath. All right, and I have a small sinus infection. I can still smell it. So that's why we're doing these tests, okay? And this one works. All right, do me a favor. Put your feet together. Put your hands on your side, okay? You're going to stay in this position, all right? And I'm going to move from this position for the duration of this test, okay? I'm going to move my finger back and forth across your face, okay? You're going to keep your head straight. You're going to follow my finger with your eyes and your eyes only. Do you understand? You do not have any contacts in, correct?
Right.
Okay. So I'm going to reach towards you, but I'm not going to touch you, okay? It's going to get the proper distance from you, all right? So just stare at my finger, tip right here, okay? Keep your chin down and lift your chin up, okay? Just keep your chin like this. Just let your eyes go up on its own, okay? All right, do it one more time. Keep your chin level. There you go. All right, so for the second portion of this, all right? You're going to do me a favor. You're going to put your left foot, so pretend like this is an invisible line. Here's the thing. You have shoes right there, but you can put on and not walk on your heels. You want to put the shoes on to do this? You're going to have to walk back and forth.
They're the slip-on shoes.
They're not slip-ons. They have a heel. Are they too small for you or something?
No.
Okay. I'm just giving you an option to use your shoes versus your bare feet.
Thank you.
And you're choosing to use your bare feet.
Yes.
Okay. So, do me a favor. Feet together, like so. Hands out your side, all right? Pretend like there's an imaginary line that goes straight down, okay? You're going to walk straight on that imaginary line. Do you understand that? Are you sure?
Yes.
All right, so do me a favor. Place your left foot on your imaginary line, your right foot in front of you, like this, heel to toe, okay? Keep your hands at your side. You're going to stay in that position Don't move and don't start walking until I tell you to do so. You understand?
Yeah.
All right, so maintain that position, okay? When I tell you to start, nope, stay back in the position.
Okay.
Don't move from that position. Keep your arms pinned to your side, like this, pinned to your side.
Okay.
Heel to toe. See how I'm doing?
Yeah, I got it.
All right. So when I tell you to start, not until I tell you to start, you're gonna take 9 heel to toe steps straight down this line, okay? Put your hands at your side, man. Stay in the position. Do not move from that position until you're told to, okay? This is the 3rd time I'm telling you this, okay? Once you reach your 9th step, you're going to take a series of small steps. You're going to turn around. And you're going to continue to count 9 heel to toe step back down this direction out loud. You understand?
Yes.
You're going to keep your arms at your side. You're going to look down at your feet, okay? It's going to look something like this, all right? Nope, back in the position for the 4th time. Don't move from that position until I tell you to do so. Do you understand? You sure? All right, so don't move again. It's the 4th time you did that. So just like this. You're going to count like this. 1, 2, 3, all the way to 9. Not 3 to 9. Do you understand? Are you looking at me?
Yes.
All right, here's the steps. You're gonna take a step like this, so turn around, and then continue. 1, 2, 3, all the way down to 9. Is that clear?
Yes.
You may begin.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, so fine thing. Let's go ahead and put your feet together, arms out your side. Okay. When I tell you to do so, you're gonna lift either foot of your choice, right or left, doesn't matter. You lift off the ground. It's gonna be about 6 inches off the ground. It's gonna be parallel to the ground. Do you understand? You're gonna look down at your foot. You're gonna count out loud. When you count, it's gonna be like 1001, 1002, 1003. Okay. Well, something like this. Okay. Parallel to the ground like this. 1001, 1002, 1003. 1004. Do you understand?
I understand.
You're going to keep going until I tell you to stop, all right? 6 inches off the ground and parallel to the ground, all right? You may begin.
1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 1009, 1010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2014,
Parallel like this.
2015, 2016, 2017.
Despite the conclusive PBT, the officer proceeded with all 3 NHTSA standardized field sobriety tests: HGN, walk and turn, and one-leg stand. This was procedurally correct. The PBT is a screening tool, not an evidentiary instrument. Courts afford greater weight to SFSTs administered under NHTSA protocol. The pre-test medical interview, covering conditions, contacts, and medications, was conducted in full, closing defense avenues before they open. On the walk and turn test, the suspect failed to maintain the instructional stance 4 separate times before the walking portion began. The NHTSA manual identifies 8 validated clues on this test. 2 or more indicate a 68% probability of B at or above 0.0. Failure to hold position during instructions alone is a recognized indicator of cognitive and motor impairment. On the one-leg stand, the suspect's observed count reached approximately 17 before being stopped. She then reported her own count as 21, a discrepancy of 4 numbers. That gap reflects diminished time perception and working memory, both clinically consistent with significant alcohol intoxication.
Too high up, you gotta be parallel. All right, so what number you end on?
21.
All right, so how much you say you have to drink?
Not answer.
You don't have to answer it. Okay, so obviously you blew over the double twice legal limit. Okay, you said you had some alcohol, but you won't tell us how much. Okay, I understand that. Go ahead and turn around for me. You've been taken into custody for DUI. You understand? Put your hands together like you're praying. Can you log 1 in custody? Can you see if you can give me a female officer for a search to Brookfield? You have any knives, weapons on you, or anything? Look at your hoodie up, real quick. All right, your stuff's gonna come with you, but put your glasses on. All right, we'll put this all together. You want to slip your shoes on? Go ahead.
You put these in your purse, all right?
All right. Go ahead and walk.
We're gonna follow you.
Okay, perfect. I asked him for a female, but
Yeah.
I should have. Let's go this way. Yeah. Hold on 1 second. All right, go ahead and slide down.
3 charges were filed. DUI under 625 ILCS 5101, a Class A misdemeanor, up to 364 days and $2,500 in fines, with aggravated sentencing at 0.1 BSE. Criminal damage to property under 720 ILCS 521.1, the damaged residence. Obstructing justice under 720 ILCS 531.4, a Class 4 felony, carrying 1 to 3 years and fines up to $25,000. Case disposition remains unknown at time of analysis. The responding officers receive a grade of A-. The investigation was methodical, legally sound, and professionally executed. Implied consent advisement was accurate and non-coercive. All 3 SFSTs were administered by the NHTSA protocol. The arrest was calm, with immediate request for a female officer for the search. Minor deduction: the suspect's shifting accounts were not explicitly summarized on camera for the evidentiary record. The suspect receives a grade of D. She operated a vehicle at 0.195 while en route to pick up her child from school. She made an affirmative false denial of alcohol consumption, refused the PBT, and provided 3 inconsistent crash explanations. Each decision added legal exposure. She ultimately cooperated with the PBT and SFSTs and did not resist arrest, factors that prevent the grade from falling to F. The Brookfield Police Department receives a grade of A. Prompt response, active field supervision, and officers fully conversant with DUI law, implied consent, and NHTSA protocol. 3 legal lessons from this encounter. First, lying to police creates charges. The false denial under 720 ILCS 531-4 added a Class 4 felony that invoking the Fifth Amendment would have prevented entirely. Second, implied consent carries real costs. Refusing costs double the suspension of failing. Third, at 0.195, per se DUI is strict liability. No cooperation, explanation, or circumstance changes the result. The only decision that eliminates every charge is not driving. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching.
Left foot in first.